Germany, an export-oriented country with the largest economy in Europe and often ranked third as the country with the highest export value after China and the United States, is now facing a crisis. One of the most powerful countries in Europe became paralyzed instantly when Russia invaded Ukraine. When Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022, Western countries, including Germany, imposed massive sanctions on Russia. These sanctions included trade restrictions, bans on access to international financial systems, and the freezing of Russian assets abroad. In response to these sanctions, Russia cut gas supplies to Germany by about 20%. Then, towards the end of 2022, Russia completely stopped the gas flow for technical reasons. Thus, Germany, which depended on Russia for 55% of its gas needs for its industry, suddenly suffered a severe shock when the supply was cut off by Russia. Germany fell into the most severe energy crisis since World War II. Not only Germany, but the gas supply cuts also caused gas prices in Europe to soar by more than 300% compared to pre-crisis prices. As a result, the very high energy prices led to an increase in inflation in Germany to 10%, creating heavy pressure on both industry and households. This was followed by a decrease in household consumption by 1.2% as consumers reduced their spending due to rising prices of goods and services. The increase in energy prices created a situation of poverty for millions of Germans during the winter of 2022 to 2023. German households faced the threat of energy poverty, a condition where they could not afford heating costs. For the first time in German history, homes that were usually warm and comfortable felt cold and empty, creating a sense of despair that loomed over the nation. By the first quarter of 2024, data showed that the German economy contracted by percent, indicating a technical recession after 2 consecutive quarters of decline. As a result, thousands of industrial workers faced the threat of layoffs. In Bavaria, the heart of Germany's automotive industry, workers who were usually proud to drive, the German economy now feared losing their jobs. In the global economy, Germany is known for its diverse, high-quality export, products in the fields of automotive, machinery, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and technology. These exports contribute about 47% of Germany's GDP, indicating a high dependence on foreign market demand. Exports are the main driver of Germany's economic growth, with about half of the country's GDP coming from products sold to other countries. Germany is also known as a major automotive producer in the world, with renowned brands such as BMW, Mercedes, and others. The automotive sector contributes about 20% of the country's total exports, making it a key sector. More than half of Germany's exports are directed to European Union member countries, with France, the Netherlands, and Italy being major markets for German products. The free market access within the European Union plays an important role in maintaining the stability of Germany's exports. In addition, the United States and China are major markets outside Europe. In 2022, Germany's export value reached around 1.6 trillion euros, or about 47% of the country's total GDP. When Russia halted its energy supplies, causing energy costs to soar suddenly in Europe, Germany quickly fell from its peak. The rising energy costs significantly increased production costs in the manufacturing industry, which then led to higher product prices and also destroyed their competitiveness in the global market. The energy crisis has increased production costs in Germany by up to 40% since early 2020, making their products less competitive compared to those from other countries. Meanwhile, China, Germany's main competitor, especially in the manufacturing and technology industries, has been able to offer products at much lower prices, which clearly threatens Germany's position in various sectors such as machinery, automotive, and electronics. Chinese electric cars have grown rapidly and dominated the global market with lower prices and very fast innovation. Companies like BYD are able to produce high-quality cars, but at more competitive prices compared to German manufacturers, such as BMW, Mercedes, and others. Additionally, Chinese cars are also superior in terms of innovation, especially in battery technology and fast charging. Meanwhile, German manufacturers have been relatively slow in adopting these technologies, causing them to fall further behind. Furthermore, China provides substantial subsidies to its domestic electric vehicle manufacturers, whereas Europe, particularly Germany, struggles to offer similar subsidies. Germany feels pressured by the influx of cheaper and competitive Chinese electric vehicles in the European market, leading to a loss of market share. China's strategy in supporting its electric vehicle industry is very different from Germany's approach. China views electric vehicles as a means to reduce dependence on imported oil, while Germany has been slow to provide comparable initiatives. Although Germany is a technology leader in many sectors, it lags significantly in electric vehicle battery technology. German companies rely on foreign suppliers for batteries, while Chinese manufacturers develop their own cheaper and more efficient battery technologies. Moreover, the lower prices of Chinese cars make them more attractive in the global market, especially for consumers transitioning to electric vehicles. This puts German car manufacturers, known for their high quality, in a dilemma of adjusting their prices without sacrificing their premium image. In 2023, industrial orders in Germany were recorded to have decreased by about 3.5% from the previous year, particularly in the automotive and heavy machinery sectors. Meanwhile, Chinese car manufacturers increased their electric vehicle exports to Europe by about 30% in the same year, clearly threatening the dominance of German car companies in the European market. In 2023, around 60% of global electric vehicle sales came from China, compared to only about 15% in Europe. This growth was supported by strong domestic sales and exports to international markets. BYD, the largest electric vehicle manufacturer in China, surpassed VW in global electric vehicle sales in the first quarter of 2023. BYD sold around 550,000 electric vehicles, while VW only reached about 450,000 units. Tragically, Germany was overtaken by China, which used to be a major market for German cars. China's rapid development in the electric vehicle industry quickly halted the demand for German cars. This decline had implications for lower sales and revenue. As Germany's position in China became more pressured, German car manufacturers increasingly relied on the European market. Unfortunately, the European market was also shifting towards cheaper electric vehicles. With declining demand, German automotive factories had to quickly adjust their production. Many factories were forced to reduce their production by 20 to 30%, especially in the conventional vehicle segment. As a result, the German automotive industry, which involves millions of people both directly and indirectly, had to implement layoffs at various levels, with an estimated 50,000 jobs in this sector at risk of being lost. Additionally, the automotive industry has a wide and complex supply chain, so when automotive manufacturers reducing their production, suppliers of spare parts, raw materials, and technological components also experienced a decline in demand. Supplier companies were forced to cut production and adjust their operations, impacting profits and jobs. Germany certainly needs to fight very hard to face these various problems. Germany has experienced many crises throughout its history and has managed to recover admirably. However, the problem now is that Germany is facing another equally serious issue. Currently, Germany is facing one of the worst demographic crises in Europe, with about 21% of its population over the age of 65 by 2030, which is less than a decade away. It is estimated that more than a third of Germany's population will be over 60 years old. This aging population exacerbates the social burden and threatens the availability of a productive workforce in the future. Additionally, Germany has a very low birth rate, with only about 153 children per woman. This low birth rate indicates a decreasing younger generation that can support Germany's economy in the future, making Germany like a giant slowly losing its strength. With an aging population and low birth rates, Germany is losing its productive workforce. In 2023, the labor force was estimated to decline by 0.2% each year. And if this trend continues, Germany will lose millions of workers by 2040, with fewer young people in the workforce. Germany is losing the potential for innovation that often comes from the younger generation. Productivity tends to decline because older workers generally have lower productivity levels. Meanwhile, the labor shortage forces companies to reduce their production capacity. On the other hand, the increasing number of elderly people requires more pension funds and healthcare services. It is estimated that spending on healthcare and pensions will absorb more than 25% of the national budget by 2030.